yes. Oi, Ollie, be quiet. Noisy dog. Yes, I know you've just had your tea. But yeah, hello everybody. I'd say good evening, but it's actually no, it is evening because it's 5:30 and I've finished work. Ollie, oi, shush. You're not helping. Yes, it's Thursday the 28th of July and the house is relatively quiet because the kids aren't back from the grandparents yet, so I thought I'd sneak in a quick review just so that I can get this uploaded tonight. I really need to try and get some kind of fibre broadband or something like that because it is taking forever to get these uploaded. So two more American whiskies left to go. So I want to finish off with one that's been quite influential on a lot of others. So this particular one, it was another one from Jason Stover, as is the next one that I'll have. And this one is called Bib and Tucker. Now, Bib and Tucker is actually slang sort of in the days of the pioneers in America. And Bib and Tucker was essentially slang for glad rags, which is British slang for kind of your best clothes, almost like, you know, suit and tie, that sort of thing. So you'd have your bib and tucker if you were going out somewhere nice. Harley, give up, dog. Never listens. Come on, that's enough. So bib and tucker was kind of, you know, you present your bib and tucker when you are trying to impress. Or right, there you go. Look, you're on camera now. Look, say hello. Say hello. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here and say hello, because you make enough noise, you might as well be in it. Or not. Come on, up. Come here. Thanks, dog. That's going to affect the flavour as well. Come on, special guest star. No? Alright. Don't start mucking around. Anyway, so it's not exactly quiet, is it? So, yes, so this, if you're into wine, which I am, but not in a massive way. You may have heard of the Sebastiani family, who are based in California, and quite a well-known winery, quite highly regarded. The family actually sold their winery in 2008, but there is a sort of offshoot called The Other Guys, or TOG, and there's a guy, one of the Sebastiani family is a gentleman called August Sebastiani, who set up a spirits company, is sort of an offshoot called 35 Maple Street, and they've got some other spirits around and about, but they launched this particular bourbon in September 2014. Now, this is what the bottle looks like, and I'm sure you'll agree it looks very, very impressive indeed. And the bottle itself actually delayed the launch of the whiskey because, Harley, oi, it's not that warm, give up. The problem with him, right, is for whatever reason, and he's been like this since a puppy, is he has to drink everything and fill his bladder up to an absolute extreme, and then he'll wait. He's not desperate, but until he goes out and I take him out for a wee, and he will stand there for 5 minutes having a wee, completely empties himself, then comes back and fills up again on water. He doesn't know about, you know, just drinking a little bit when you're thirsty or just pacing yourself. It's all or nothing with that dog at either end. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so yes, the bottle itself that I had up actually delayed the launch because they were trying to find, I digressed, so here's the bottle again. They actually were having trouble sourcing embossed bottles. They were trying to find a company that would emboss the Bib and Tucker. All that's not a label that's stuck on it. That is actually embossed amber glass. Really, really impressive. Looks absolutely stunning, but actually quite hard to make and quite hard for them to get hold of. You're looking at about $45 to $55, $60 a bottle for this, and I do wonder how much of that is actually the bottle itself, because that is a pretty snazzy bottle that involves a lot of work, and I do wonder what percentage of that retail price is actually the cost of the bottle and the production of it. I did find it in the Whiskey Exchange for 65 quid, which I don't actually think is that bad a price. So anyway, so this is a bourbon from 35 Maple Street. They don't have a distillery. This is a sourced bourbon. Trouble is, I don't actually know where it's sourced from. Now, it's bottled by a company called the Kentucky Artisan Distillery, which are in Crestwood, Kentucky, which is here. Now, they only started distilling a couple of years ago, and this particular one, now interestingly, when they first said that they were going to launch Bib Tucker, they said it was going to be an 8-year-old Tennessee whiskey. When it was launched, it was actually a 6-year-old bourbon, not Tennessee bourbon or anything like that, it was just a bourbon. No Kentucky, nothing like that. So it has changed slightly. Presumably the 8-year-old Tennessee was a source that fell through, that they couldn't guarantee to get the quantities that they needed. But Kentucky Artisan Distillery only started distilling a couple of years ago, so for it to be a 6-year-old, and it actually is slightly more, it ain't from them. So I don't actually know where it's from, who it is that's making it. Heaven Hill, Buffalo Trace, who knows? What I do know, there's quite a handy website called caskers.com, caskers.com, and on quite a few of them, they sell whiskey, but on quite a few of them, they're quite good with the info as well. And through them, I've found out that this mash bill is 70% corn, 26% rye, and 4% barley. Now, it was matured, it's distilled twice. They actually distill it through a column still and then transfer that and distill it again in a traditional pot still. And then it's matured. Now, Cask has actually said the average age of this is 7.5 years rather than the 6 that's on the label. How they know that, I've no idea. And why they're giving me all this information and not actually saying what distillery it's from, not that helpful. Anyway, it's matured in a number 1 char barrel, so it's actually quite lightly toasted. I think it was number 4 was the deepest char. So number 1 is pretty light, but there's still a decent colouring on this. I'm trying not to get on the table because it makes as I found out when I did Joe Ellis's video, it wobbles like crazy on the tripod. There's a pretty deep colour for a light charred, or lightly toasted barrel. So. Ooh, nuts. Very much nuts. Hazelnuts, Brazil nuts, Brazil nut shells, but then there's a freshness to it as well. Interesting. It's sort of nutty and minty at the same time. Very intriguing nose. Forgot to mention it's 46% as well. Really nicely balanced. A slight firiness to it, but nothing overpowering. Actually lifts everything up, works really well. And as if you've been following me on my American whiskies, you know I'm not overly keen on the particularly hot, particularly fiery bourbons. This actually has a nice little kick, nothing too overpowering, and then smooth, rich flavours. It's quite caramelly. Nuttiness isn't so much there. There is a fresh mint feel to it as well. Fresh garden mint. Very smooth. There's a really good balance. There's still a little bit of fire at the back of my throat. Very subtle, just off there in the distance, but it works really well with the smoothness of the palate. It's a really well balanced bourbon, this. Really well balanced. There's a lovely smoothness to it. It's not too dissimilar to something like slightly smoother than Eagle Rare. It's not quite as fruity as the Angel's Envy, but it's not too far off in terms of that smoothness. But it's just got a slight bit of heat at the back of the throat. This is a really, really good bourbon. Really good. Now my fear, it's really good. There's a lovely toffiness to it as well. It's a really nice, sweet, smooth, silky, soft toffee, almost golden syrupy as well. But again, that slight heat is just lifting everything up. This is up there. This is a really, really good bourbon. My fear was that you see the bottle and you think it's style over content. We're looking at Hate Club again. Nice fancy blue bottle, and the whiskey inside is actually pretty disappointing. But this, the whiskey inside the bottle is as good as the bottle itself. This is just the right balance of everything that I look for in a bourbon. Smooth, sweet, fruity, bit of fire, little bit of spice, but not too overpowering, not too dry, not too spicy, not too hot. I much prefer the sweeter, smoother, richer bourbons. of which this is one. This is absolutely gorgeous. When I get myself to the States next, I'm picking up... Now, this is a sort of bottle that if I saw it on the shelf, I would have probably picked it up anyway, because I would have gone, God, that looks absolutely wonderful. I want that on my shelf. But I'm so glad that what's inside is as good, because I will really enjoy drinking this as well. That is brilliant. That is really, really good. That ticks all my personal boxes for a bourbon. It might be slightly too sweet for some. It might be too kind of smooth and sweet. If you prefer the fiery kind of, Booker's, Maker's Mark, that sort of thing, it's probably going to be a little bit too sweet for you. The fire that's in there is just for my liking. It might not be enough for other drinkers. But for me personally, that is absolutely gorgeous. And if I can find that for $45 when I get out to the States next February, I'm snapping it up, because that is brilliant stuff. Jason, thank you so much for that. That was glorious. That is there on the list for my to get when the challenge is finished. There is quite a few on there, but that is definitely going on there. Lovely stuff. Right, one more to go, which I think I'll probably edit and upload this now for tonight, and then maybe do a couple more later on once I've got the kids to bed, just to give myself some head start. But yes, might have to save that a little bit towards the end. Lovely stuff. Really recommend that. Looks good. Would make a great present, and also is a great whiskey. Fantastic stuff. Right, I need to get all the way over there to turn this off. I shall see you in the next one. Cheers.